Good morning, Ms. Walker. On the 45th floor of a Chicago high-rise, at Jennifer Walker Architectural Design Office. At 6 a.m., Jennifer nodded slightly to the cleaning staff's greeting as she made her way to her windowside desk. Under the sky where the sun hadn't fully risen, she could see Michigan Avenue in full bloom with tulips. The wall displayed numerous architectural award trophies, and her Forbes magazine cover story was modestly displayed. As the head of one of Chicago's most successful architectural design firms, she had spent many nights at this desk. Dressed in an understated navy pantsuit with subtle makeup, her eyes held an unwavering determination that no one could shake. Since graduating top of her class from the University of Chicago's School of Architecture and starting her own firm at 30, the path to achieving $10 million in annual revenue had been anything but smooth. "Jenny, we're off to Hawaii. We're celebrating Ashley's birthday." A voicemail from her mother Patricia remained on her smartphone. Her mother was one of the most successful real estate agents in Chicago's North Shore. On weekends, she hosted lavish brunch parties at her mansion, living more extravagantly and socially than anyone else. In her 1920s historic mansion on Sheridan Road, her mother regularly entertained her high society friends. "Mom, this hotel room is amazing." Ashley's voice could be heard in the background of the message. An influential lifestyle influencer with 1 million followers, she was nominally the head of an architectural design company. Though she lacked practical business skills, she continuously secured new projects through her flashy social media presence. Her posts from the Ritz-Carlton consistently garnered over 100,000 likes, and media outlets regularly featured her spending leisurely weekends at yacht parties and luxury spas. In response to Jennifer's worried text asking, "Is work okay?" her stepfather Robert immediately called. "Jennifer, can you handle all the family paperwork this week?" Robert, an investment banker who had married her mother 10 years ago, maintained a gentlemanly facade while privately looking down on Jennifer. His hobby was buying a new luxury car every year, with his latest Bentley Continental GT holding court in the garage. Her stepfather, who never missed his ski vacations in Aspen, was the only family member who didn't even try to hide his obvious coldness toward Jennifer. "Yes, I understand." Jennifer quietly hung up the phone. On her wrist was a Cartier watch, a keepsake from her late father. Outside the window, the sun was rising, and she could see her apartment in a Winnetka townhouse in the distance. Last night too, she had stayed up late organizing her sister's company's financial statements. Despite the outward glamour, the company's management was in a precarious state. Next week would be her 35th birthday. Last year, the year before, and the year before that, there had never been any birthday wishes from her family. She was always missing from the family photos her mother took in Palm Beach. When asked about vacation plans, she would make excuses about work. Though she knew the truth was that no one ever tried to invite her. At night, after returning home from work, Jennifer opened an old album. Photos from before her father passed away. A family of 4 with arms around each other, smiling. Back then, her mother had loved Jennifer too. After her father's funeral, her mother changed rapidly. While her devotion to her younger daughter increased, her interest in her eldest daughter faded. A tear falls onto the high-quality Crane and Company stationery. Still, she continues to work for her family. Without changing her expression, carrying deep emotions locked away in her heart. Trust from wealthy clients, respect from employees. But the one thing she wanted most, love from her family, was always just out of reach. On the 45th floor of Willis Tower, Jennifer finished her final presentation. From the 30-foot-high conference room windows, Chicago's skyline spread out in the spring twilight. The green of Millennium Park, where tulips bloomed in full glory, was bathed in orange sunset light. "Ms. Walker, thank you for the excellent proposal. We'll be providing you with a special bonus." The executive of a major developer extended his hand with a broad smile. This single project would increase annual revenue by 20%. The perfect birthday gift had arrived. Executives one after another offered their congratulations. Chicago's architectural giants praised her achievements. A once-in-20 years major redevelopment project. Being named as the chief director would surely mark a new turning point in her career. Returning to her office, she found a small bouquet from her staff on her desk. The combination of white calla lilies and blue delphiniums showed how well they knew her preferences. The card reading, "Happy Birthday, Jennifer," bore the signatures of all employees. She felt a warmth in her chest. Nigel, the chief designer, quietly offered her coffee. "Boss, please leave early today. Enjoy celebrating with your family." Smiling at those words, Jennifer changed into a navy cocktail dress she had recently purchased from a luxury boutique. The fine Oscar de la Renta fabric enhanced her dignified presence. She applied her makeup a bit more carefully than usual and fastened her father's Cartier watch around her wrist. This year might be different, such hope swelled slightly in her heart. Driving north on Lake Shore Drive in the twilight, she reminisced about memories with her family. Before her father passed away, they would always take this road to a downtown restaurant for her birthday. Now, even those memories weren't shared with her mother and sister. As she approached the affluent Winnetka neighborhood, several unfamiliar luxury cars were parked in front of her mother's house. Two of the latest Rolls-Royce Ghosts, a Ferrari Portofino, and her stepfather's brand-new Bentley Continental GT. The usually quiet street showed unusual activity tonight. Opening the front door, she could hear lively laughter coming from the living room lit by baccarat crystal chandeliers. This 1920s historic building embodied her mother's good taste, exuding both classical and modern elegance. The sound of Dom Perignon rose champagne being uncorked. High-end French catering by a Michelin-starred chef. From her mother's reception room, she could see relatives dressed in evening gowns. "Everyone, thank you for viewing my new jewelry collection." Her mother Patricia's voice rang out. With a crystal glass in hand, she wore a broad smile. A custom-made Cartier diamond necklace sparkled in the chandelier light. Beside her, notable society figures offered their congratulations. "Mom, the Instagram live stream is getting such a huge response. Over 500,000 views already." Ashley was elated, holding the latest iPhone 15 Pro Max. Her dress was apparently a direct shipment from Dior in Paris. As a social media influencer, such glamorous scenes were her specialty. The moment Jennifer stepped into the living room, conversation briefly stopped. A frozen silence descended for just a moment. "Oh, Jennifer. You're early today." Her mother wore a slightly confused expression. Clear disgust showed in her eyes. "What's happening here?" To Jennifer's question, her sister answered lightly. Her red Louboutin heels clicking as she gracefully approached. It's Mom's new jewelry collection debut party. Today was the only day everyone's schedules aligned. Her stepfather Robert, tilting his Christoffel glass, added, "Can you handle the party cleanup?" Her mother, wearing a radiant smile, added, "Oh yes, it was your birthday today, wasn't it?" Everyone laughed and raised their champagne glasses. The sound reflected off the crystal chandeliers, echoing endlessly. Not a single person offered birthday wishes to her. Jennifer quietly climbed the stairs. The thick Persian carpet gently muffled her footsteps. Entering her old room, she took out Crane and Company's premium stationery. Taking her father's keepsake Mont Blanc fountain pen, she began recording the truth. Fighting back tears, she transformed all her thoughts into words. The reality of her sister's company, mounting deficits behind the glamorous social media posts. The truth about her mother's real estate dealings, traces of illegal transactions and tax evasion. The reality of her stepfather's investment firm, evidence of client fund misappropriation. And all the evidence of how she had been secretly supporting everything. Records of countless nights spent maintaining the family's pretenses and vanity. She carefully placed the letter in an envelope and left it on the living room table. The truth recorded on the finest cotton paper had the power to instantly destroy this house of pretense. Packing minimal necessities in her Louis Vuitton travel bag, she made a reservation at a Michelin-starred restaurant on her smartphone. "We have prepared the chef's table for one this evening." On the other end of the line, Alinia's concierge responded politely. Downstairs, the party's cheers continued. The sound of champagne corks popping, high society's elegant laughter, and her sister's voice continuing her Instagram live stream. Jennifer quietly opened the front door and surrendered herself to the night breeze. In Jennifer's luxury car heading south on Michigan Avenue, classical music played softly. Arriving at the restaurant, service director Michael Moran greeted her with a warm smile. Every gesture of his exuded the refinement befitting a 3 Michelin-starred restaurant. "Let me show you to the chef's table." Ascending the spiral staircase revealed a glass-enclosed private dining room. A premium seat with a panoramic view of Chicago's night skyline. On the table, pure white linen was elegantly spread, and baccarat crystal glasses sparkled. "We understand you're dining alone this evening." Michael's voice carried in remarkably warm kindness. "Yes, today is my birthday." At those words, Michael's expression softened for a moment. "Then, allow me to suggest a wine worthy of this special celebratory evening." The chef sommelier presented a 1988 Romani Conti. A wine from Jennifer's birth year. The deep red liquid being poured into the glass sparkled like a jewel in the chandelier light. 1988 was a wonderful year. Jennifer smiled slightly at the sommelier's words. Before her father passed away, the family would always dine at this restaurant for her birthday. Back then, her mother remembered Jennifer's preferences and would always order chocolate soufflé for dessert. The appetizer arrived. A harmony of truffles and caviar. Each delicate plating contained the chef's heartfelt dedication. "This is a special celebratory dish from the chef." Course after course of culinary artistry. Each dish's beauty warmed Jennifer's heart with the sincerity poured into it. Suddenly, her smartphone vibrated. A notification from her sister's Instagram. She couldn't help opening the screen, which showed uploads of the luxurious party one after another. Her mother's elegant smile. Her stepfather raising a champagne glass. And her sister's beaming smile. Only Jennifer's image was missing from the posted photos. The comments section overflowed with envious voices. The contrast between her seemingly happy family dancing on social media and the quiet dinner table before her stabbed at her heart. Yet strangely, her heart felt unexpectedly calm. "A toast to your birthday," Michael said while pouring new champagne. Dom Perignon rose. The same brand being served at her mother's party. But somehow, here it seemed to shine differently. "Did you know? They say champagne bubbles are a sign of happiness." At Michael's words, Jennifer's eyes unexpectedly moistened. Warm wishes from strangers. It felt like genuine affection she had never once received from her family. The main dish arrived. Perfectly cooked A5 Wagyu beef. Each accompanying organic vegetable was carefully prepared. "Actually, all the kitchen staff prepared a birthday card for you." The card Michael presented contained handwritten messages from all staff members, including the chef. At these heartfelt birthday wishes from strangers, large tears fell from Jennifer's eyes. Her smartphone vibrated again. This time, a notification from her mother's Instagram. Stories of the new jewelry collection debut party were being uploaded one after another. Jennifer quietly turned off her smartphone. Outside the window, Chicago's night skyline glowed blue. Willis Tower, John Hancock Center, and the new buildings she had helped design. All stood quietly, as if watching over her 35 years of life. "I've brought your dessert." It was chocolate soufflé. The taste of birthdays once shared with her father gently returned. A birthday song from all the restaurant staff. The moment she received heartfelt wishes from others for the first time. It became her warmest birthday memory yet. "Did you enjoy your special evening?" As she was leaving, Michael smiled kindly. "Yes, it was the best birthday of my life." Getting into her car, she quietly started the engine. At the Sheridan Road mansion, the party was reaching its end. "Ashley, can you call Jennifer?" Patricia said, elegantly letting her Cartier bracelet sparkle. The kitchen, lined with empty Dom Perignon bottles, was scattered with leftover high-end French catering. "Yes, I'll call her. She's probably working upstairs as usual." Ashley climbed the spiral stairs, her Dior heels clicking. Robert was engrossed in conversation about luxury cars with his investment associates. "Jennifer? Could you help with the cleanup?" Ashley's voice trailed off. No one was in the upstairs hallway. "My, what's wrong?" Patricia came up the stairs. The baccarat chandelier light reflected off her new necklace, creating patterns on the wall. "Jenny's not here." "Well, running away, that's not like her." Just then, their stepfather's voice rang out from the living room. "Patricia. Ashley. Come here right now." His tone lacked its usual composure. When the two hurried downstairs, they saw the premium stationery placed on the living room table. Letters carefully written with a Mont Blanc fountain pen on Crane and Company's finest paper. It was like a magic spell that would instantly destroy this family's castle of pretense. To Mother, Ashley, and Robert. Patricia's hands trembled. "Until now, I have kept silent to protect the family. However, tonight, while celebrating my 35th birthday alone, I made a decision. Ashley caught her breath. First, regarding Ashley's company. Behind the glamorous social media posts, the company's reality is in serious management crisis. As of today, I am terminating all the secret financial support and client introductions I have been providing. The iPhone fell from Ashley's hands. Her latest post on the screen now seemed a cruel irony. Next, regarding mother's real estate company. I have submitted all evidence of fraud and tax evasion in transactions over the past 3 years to the relevant authorities. All the fake transactions conducted under my name will also come to light. The color drained from Patricia's face. Her hands holding the letter began shaking violently. And regarding Robert's investment company. Evidence of client fund misappropriation has already been submitted to the SEC. The truth behind all the documents I've been signing as the nominal responsible party will also be revealed. Her stepfather dropped his whiskey glass. The Christoffel crystal shattered on the marble floor. At that moment, Ashley's smartphone began vibrating violently. The screen displayed notifications of rapidly declining follower numbers. Someone had begun exposing the truth behind her posts. Her career as an influencer was crumbling before her eyes with an audible crash. My 100,000 followers. Patricia's phone started ringing too. A call from Chicago's largest real estate brokerage. A cold voice announcing immediate contract termination flowed from the speaker. In the study, Robert's private line was ringing. Inquiries from investors were flooding in. The keys to his Bentley slipped from his trembling hands. "This is my final gift to you." The last line of the letter sparkled in the baccarat chandelier light. That night, an unprecedented silence fell over the Sheridan Road mansion. The next morning's Chicago Tribune front page bore the headline, "Fraud Exposed, Shaking Chicago's High Society." Her mother's real estate company received cancellation after cancellation. Long-term clients were all requesting contract terminations at once. The luxury residential area office now bore a sign reading, "Temporarily closed." On her sister's Instagram, followers decreased by tens of thousands within hours. Luxury brands she had promoted announced collaboration contract terminations one after another. Her once glamorous social media account had become an object of ridicule. SEC investigators conducted an on-site inspection of her stepfather's investment company. The media gathered in front of the building, and wealthy clients arriving in luxury cars would likely never return. CNN breaking news aired. News of the glamorous family's downfall in Chicago's social circles spread across the nation in an instant. Her mother's cell phone was flooded with condemning voices from former friends. None of the social circle members who had gathered for weekend brunch parties would answer their phones now. Her sister's credit cards were suspended one after another. Her luxury stay reservation at the Ritz-Carlton was canceled. With her influencer income cut off, her bank account balance visibly dwindled. Her stepfather's investors began withdrawing their funds en masse. His luxury car collection was seized as evidence of illegal fund misappropriation and transported away from the garage one by one. As night fell, the 3 family members sat dazed in their crumbling castle of pretense. Under the baccarat chandelier, their shadows stretched long. Her mother, still dressed in her luxury brand suit, stared vacantly at her smartphone. Her sister had lost even the will to respond to the flood of criticizing comments on her last Instagram post. Her stepfather merely stared at the ceiling, an empty whiskey bottle before him. At that moment, the butler quietly entered the living room. "Madam, I deeply apologize, but I would like to resign as of today." The words of the butler who had served this family for many years broke the silence. Outside, the spring night wind blew through. Their once glamorous lifestyle crumbled silently, like a castle built on sand. 1 year later. Ms. Walker, the Forbes interview team is waiting. Sarah, her secretary, quietly knocked on the door. She was to be featured on this month's cover as Chicago's most influential woman architect. How are the preparations for the new projects in Asia? Yes, we've received approval from the teams in Singapore, Tokyo, and Shanghai. Over the past year, her firm had achieved remarkable growth. Revenue was up 300% from the previous year. The number of employees had doubled, and the office had expanded to 2 floors. However, the kindness in her eyes remained unchanged. Are the preparations ready for this weekend's foster care support event? Yes, everything is set. 30 children are expected to participate. On her desk sat a photo frame. A picture from the Christmas party at the Foster Care Support Center. Surrounded by smiling children, her expression showed a happiness she had never known before. Meanwhile, in a suburban Chicago apartment, Ashley worked in a small kitchen. Her social media followers had plummeted to a few thousand, and her income as an influencer had completely dried up. Now she only worked weekends at a local organic cafe. Patricia sat wearily on the sofa. Her once luxurious branded clothes had been sold to second-hand shops, and now she wore clothes bought from local outlets. Her real estate license had been revoked, and her old connections had completely severed. Her stepfather Robert had been forced into early retirement and now spent his days playing chess in the neighborhood park. His Bentley had been seized, and he now drove a used Toyota. Another letter from Jenny. A Crane and Company envelope lay on the living room table. The monthly living expenses that arrived without fail. Though it wounded their pride, they couldn't even pay rent without it. In Jennifer's office, designer Nigel hesitantly spoke up. The Wall Street Journal is requesting an interview about reconciliation between mother and daughter. Jennifer quietly shook her head. The drawer of her desk contained numerous apologetic letters from her mother, but she hadn't replied yet. Letters beginning with, "To my beloved daughter." However, it would still take time for those words to ring true. At dusk, Jennifer walked along Michigan Avenue. Spring tulips bloomed just as they had last year. She had just finished a new project meeting on the top floor of Willis Tower. Jennifer. The voice came from Mary, the director of the Foster Care Support Center. The children are so looking forward to the Thanksgiving party. Weekend volunteer work had become her new routine. Time spent with the children at the facility taught her the true meaning of family. Tomorrow is my 36th birthday. At those words, Mary smiled warmly. We've prepared a wonderful surprise. Together with the children. The next day, the Foster Care Support Center hall was decorated with handmade ornaments. Happy birthday, Jennifer. 30 children ran up to her, holding handmade cards. Their pure smiles were treasures more valuable than any luxury brand. We all made the cake. I did the flower decorations. I chose the candles. So many warm words. Pure love without expecting anything in return. It was something her former family could never understand. Her smartphone showed incoming calls from her mother. But now, she wanted to focus on the happiness before her. Happy birthday. A little girl timidly approached. I am so happy I met you, Jennifer. At that moment, the tears flowing down her cheeks were no longer from sadness. Outside, the spring breeze blew gently. A breath of new life enveloped the city of Chicago. On the top floor of Willis Tower, new project blueprints fluttered in the wind. They were designs for a new foster care facility building. She had decided to dedicate her architectural talent to the children's future. The night sky was filled with countless stars. The former castle of pretense had become a distant past, and now a new life filled with genuine love spread before her. Yes, this was true happiness. Jennifer Walker could smile from her heart for the first time. It was proof of genuine happiness that money couldn't buy. In her desk drawer, her mother's apologetic letters still lay unopened. Perhaps someday, she would write a reply to those letters. But for now, she wanted to cherish the happiness before her. Together with her new family, filled with genuine love.